Hello and welcome to my recap of the final game of the ninth European Professional Qualification Tournament. It was a best of three grand final. The first two games went 1-1. You can check my previous video to see how those games went. This game was extremely exciting, a very fitting finish to the tournament. Let's dive right in and have some fun. Lucas Papera is white, Jan Samara is black. They open with a cross game. It's somewhat rare to see in high-level play these days, but for no particular reason. Of course, it's completely fine to play. And they both are territorial players, so I'm sure they're both quite comfortable with a cross game, which tends to emphasize on small territories throughout the board. They play this Joseki, which Lucas played quite a bit in this tournament, and Tanuki for now. All of these are things you've studied before with AI, until this one. This is maybe the first middle game move, but it's just a move on the side between two enclosures. It's definitely not going to be small. And Lucas takes his own. Same variety, one line away from the star point. Jan Samara now does the first strike of the game, the first tactical move, with the turn forcing Lucas to connect and wedge. So Jan Samara emphasizes that he can make some influence in the center. Now, it would be proper for Lucas to Tanuki, actually, because there's nothing really that you can do immediately, but he plays the exchanges like this and forces Jan Samara to cut his shape in the center. I'm sure he thinks he can take use of the cutting point there efficiently later on, no matter what. But he still has Sente, so he can start by simply reducing in the upper left. It forces this move to defend the black 3 stones on the top side. You wouldn't want white to come in and reduce your Moyo at the same time as they attack you. But the next move that Lucas plays, growing and reducing again, is not as much of an attack. There's no way for white to now go and split the top side. So Jan Samara feels free to Tanuki, and he does this move in the bottom left. We saw him do this before, and it led to him getting a really bad fight, so kudos to his bravery to play it again. This time Lucas plays the extend forwards, and this dares Jan Samara to enter Lucas's framework on the left side, so Jan dares, and Lucas protects his corner. Jan tries to reduce it, Lucas protects again, and Jan takes a bit of a base. All is working well so far, and white has the initiative to attack this group however he likes. Lucas does not enjoy a group like this taking territory while it lives, so he plays the Iron Pillar. As I've said before, is our favorite move that the AIs never like. The strong players still like to play it quite a bit because it's awkward to interact with for black. Black just chooses to knight's move here, but this iron pillar can often become very effective when cutting this black shape in the future. Even Lucas says he has enough power with that iron pillar to jump all the way 2 spaces, even though Jan just leaned on him. Actually, this is too much for me. I wouldn't have jumped that far. It just allows Jan Samara to push and cut, and Lucas has to cut, and it looks quite an awkward shape on the upper left quadrant of the board there for white, but it is stable for now, and Jan Samara simply protects his group, trying to surround some small territory with it. Whenever you run with your weak group, building a territory as you run is a good way to ensure that you're gaining maximum value for strength. So it makes sense, and Lucas's move next, jumping, also makes sense. He's trying to enclose some amount of territory in the upper left there as he continues to pressure this weak black group in the lower left. Now Jan Samara has the fighting spirit to Tanuki that. So not to answer again in the bottom left, but to say, hey, if you want to attack that group, go ahead. It's not clear how white can surround with just one move. So Jan Samara is free to Tanuki, and his Tanuki direction is quite good as well. To reduce the upper left, now Lucas should connect his groups, and Jan can walk in. Lucas can only fall back if Lucas would try to cut too early, then his weaknesses will come back to bite him. So Jan is given the chance to connect back his stones like this. And Lucas can only fix his shape in the center, that awkward shape, by spending another move on it. Actually, though, this is still pretty good for white, and you could argue, if you were a nitpicker, that even if black spent this last move anywhere on the board, say here, try to grow the right side massively, that white wouldn't be that bad off just protecting this anyway, that this is just a big move on the board. And then, if you believe that, you can argue that moving this stone somewhere random to build black's own territory could be more valuable than the reducing move that black plays, just connecting out his reducing stone. So you can argue that black was actually the one who was slow here, but these are small details. It's nothing that will decide the shape of the game. What will decide the game is what happens on the right side. As black challenges, hey, my right side is super big. Look at me. I'm jumping up. It's going to be center territory. Well, white can't have that. First, white presses on the top side. This is a bit of a challenge to black. Usually this sequence, if you can get both attaches and then the Atari, black can hardly be good in this sequence. It's very difficult for black to be better off here, when black already had that territory and it ended up just reduced and white got more influence. So often you'll see the professional black players playing some crazy counterattack, something like this, but it seemed out of place in this position as well. So I understand why Jan Samara simply backed off, yet Lucas can feel satisfied. And now he takes his timing to go to the right side, now that he has more power. He invades, and he's looking to save this group on the right side, and in doing so break the large amount of potential that Jan Samara was building. Jan, of course, attacks. He's already got strength on both sides. Once you have strength on both sides, you should attack from your weakest direction, which is the center. White runs to the top side to use the cutting points that black still has there, but black is strong. He says, hey, what cutting points? I dare you to go after my group there. It's strong. Continues to attack from the center, claiming that the center is the weakest direction. So Lucas says, all right, let's calm down. I'm not strong enough to attack you yet. May I please have some strength in order to do that? And Jan Samara hanes below, denying Lucas a base. And Lucas hanes in the center here, so looking to gain strength and run his group out. But the obvious move that Jan Samara can play here is a split, but he doesn't play it. Instead, he plays the Atari from this direction and the connect. The most normal way to handle this would be to push through, split off these two white stones, and try to swallow them. Now, if white can't do anything special with these three stones and reduce this black in some marvelous way, then white could just be in trouble. Black might just have too much. But white probably did have something special here. White could try making sure that they get this Atari, and then playing Atari here, and connect. This would likely be Sente for the side, and then white has this attachment, which can break through, or if black blocks, capture these stones in a ladder. So I think that Jan Samara knew if he pushes through, that the knight's move that he has in the center would be too weak to hold all of the white Aji in. That's why instead he chooses to attack patiently. Allow white to Atari this stone and not even save it, but simply sacrifice. If black had ran out, then once again it's the same shape. If black blocks, white Ataris, and black is dead. So black gives up that one stone and attacks from the center again, rather than committing to a cut and committing to leaving his own weaknesses. Black has chosen to reinforce the outside attack on this white group. So to make the white group as a unit form its two eyes without any assistance of black weaknesses. Okay, white needs to do that, so white begins to run, plays the Hane, and gives black the territory on the bottom side as payment for white becoming stronger in the center. Now white could continue paying, but at this moment he begins to believe that his white group is relatively strong, and it would be too squished if it would just run out through the large knight or something like that. He wants to counterattack and use the black weaknesses to grab initiative of his own. So he plays the attachment across this knight's move here. Black cuts, white cuts, black extends, saving his weakest stone, and white extends here. So white is looking to cut off those two stones and live that way. Black must save them. And white now intends to run his group out while attacking these four black stones that are cut off in the center. So he plays this move first, and gives black this Atari. Actually, this is a little bit of a mistake again. I would rather to have seen Lucas cut in the center first. If you cut first in the center, then although black tries to chase these 2 stones, we could switch back and reuse the Aji in the upper center here, whatever way that we need to. It's not necessary to take all that value to make sure that these 2 stones are connected first. This overcommits white to the right side and gives black too much strength with one of the eventual targets that white could have had if he had simply started the fight a little bit more elegantly. Okay, but again, that wouldn't be the game-winning or game-ending decider moment. White can still run, and black simply chooses to keep the pressure on the 2 stones in the center. If Lucas would save them, then he would be in huge trouble with his group on the bottom side and the group in the center. So Lucas chooses to defend his group on the bottom right and allow black to capture those 2 white stones in the center. They are netted. It's impossible to run them out. However, white has Sente. So white managed to break the right side. Black got a large amount of territory as benefit and even managed to capture a lot in the center. Got some bad exchanges, capturing this white cutting stone as well. The game is around even. White attacks the group in the bottom left. It starts a new story where white intends for black to simply respond somehow, try to make his own shape connected, and eventually run into the center, and allow white to use the strength that he's built in the center over the last 30 moves. Black dodges. Black tries to Atari here first, white captures, and black Ataris here. Every strong player knows that when you connect here, you're a wimp. That connecting here is terrible shape, and we should never do it. But we always do it. Because it's so scary. Of course, white can play, instead of this, on the outside, and allow black to fight this Ko. But this Ko is splitting like all the white stones, and unless white is certain that he's going to win it a couple times, make sure that he has initiative throughout this fight, we can't be sure that we're not just going to fall apart and die if we do this kind of thing. So we always end up playing this one, even though we know it's wrong. Through this one, Jan Samara had a plan. He had a great Tetsuji lined up, actually, with the second line move here. Lucas chooses to cut in the center after this, which might look a little strange because normally when someone plays this kind of second line move, we should cut it off and then fight the 2 groups separately. But in this case, when black connects here, it's really quite difficult for white to prove an initiative that white will be the one capturing black here and not black capturing these white 3 stones. So that block that white would want to play on the second line is likely an overplay. That's why instead, Lucas uses the cut in the center to try to save his 2 stones a different way. That gives, though, Jan Samara a chance to connect on the second line. Lucas can connect his 2 stones, but when Jan connects here, instead of saving in the center, Jan has managed to save on the side and break a large amount of white territory on the left side. Lucas wants to get that territory back, so he chooses to cut in the center like this, but this is the common mistake of the territorial player handling influence. If you have an influence, as Lucas does, a big influence towards the center, one of the worst things that you can do with it is build. Which may sound strange, because I know a lot of Q players win all their games by building. But the problem with building with your influence is that as long as there's another open door, your stone can become irrelevant. Black now plays extend here. When black continues to reduce and break this area in the center, whether white has a stone here or not will have 0 effect on the territory at the end of the game. So black can easily put this stone, which white attempted to enclose a territory with, into dame, and therefore useless value. That's why we should never try to enclose a center territory with our influence until we have the last open wall to secure. Lucas is now in trouble. Not only did he take some poor shapes in the center and give black the territory on the left, but even his compensation in the center is getting trashed, as black builds something on the bottom side and even puts pressure on Lucas's group in the bottom right. Lucas tries to take territory. However, this territory is not necessarily bigger than the territory which Jan Samara takes on the side. It's not a gain yet. Lucas tries to peep. This one, when black answers, is a gain. Actually, black had to play, again, a crazy counterattack, something like this, because the problem with what he played in the game is that it leaves Lucas a cut in the center and capturing these 2 stones in the upper right, where this peeping stone is now peeping an influence which didn't really need the extra strength. This black stone, the answering stone, is too overconcentrated with the black wall. Samara sacrifices his 2 stones elegantly, taking the maximum amount of territory that he can, and goes to take the upper left corner, one of the last big territorial points. Lucas takes the bottom side. Jan blocks. He makes a bamboo shape, making sure his connection is solid. Lucas answers. Jan turns. Lucas pushes. Jan blocks. And Lucas takes the big move in the upper left. Jan hanes. If he wouldn't hane, then Lucas's continuation of a hane and Atari would be very annoying for Jan. So Lucas gets the next Sente endgame, and he chooses to again secure something in the center. They're sharing their big points with each other, so nothing tactical has happened, so nobody has made any big mistakes, big losses, or big gains. The game is still in Jan Samara's favor. Black pushes once, Lucas answers, and black takes some endgame on the right side. Lucas runs his group out, making sure that he doesn't get weak as black steals away the potential eye space he had on the side. And Jan plays the attach. Jan is now combining a reduction of the territory Lucas was aiming for earlier in the bottom left with an attack on the white group in the bottom right. Lucas can only answer, and Jan uses Lucas's cutting points to poke him again. Lucas must answer again. Jan uses the cutting points to such annoyance one more time, and Lucas finishes his shape running out into the center. Jan now breaks the bottom left territory, and you can see now the value of this cutting stone is nearly 0. Lucas goes to take endgame on the side. Jan answers. Lucas tries to take territory in the center. Jan goes to the right side. Lucas makes sure that this black couldn't link up with a jump underneath. Black pushes, white blocks, and black jumps into the upper right corner. White pushes and pushes. Black hanes, white answers, black connects, and white ataris and answers. Actually, this answer could have been the connect here, which would have saved Lucas Podpera a co-threat. Instead, he plays the tiger's mouth. Jan plays in the center. Actually, this move is a pretty big mistake, because there's a sizable amount of Aji in the bottom right corner that Lucas Podpera can make a group to live. This move builds some territory for black in the center and reduces some territory for white in the center, but nothing would be attacked yet. And in terms of territory, the center is much less valuable than the corners and the sides. Instead of this, it would have been much safer of Jan to play a block here. Lucas wants to take advantage. He throws in a stone to the bottom right corner here. The 4-2 point. This was a mistake, because Jan Samara can answer in the corner, and when Lucas tries to link up to this stone, Jan has this cutting move, which both provides a cut on the first line and a cut on the second line. White can't answer both of them. He tries to make some exchanges on the left and answers here. Black manages to cut off the white's throw-in stone, and white loses his Aji of doing anything in the corner. Black leads a lot. Lucas had a better way to handle this. In general, if you want to use the Aji of your second line peeping stone to go to a new area, I recommend a 2-space jump on the second line. This shape is the best in most cases because when black blocks, it has a clear way to link back up, like this. Now black would have to answer somehow. White's reduction is very successful, much more successful than a simple push would have been, where black would get to block. If black would block this way and allow white into the corner, the 3-3 is the vital point in most cases, and the knight's move is a good way to make eye space. So this S5 was the vital point both towards the side and towards the corner. Now if black would try to eat it, white could push, Atari, and peep, where if black connects, white will now have enough space to make a living shape, or at least a seki. White did this one, and black punished by taking away the corner and then taking away the route back to the side. White's endgame on the left side, also slightly inaccurate, means that white is now noticeably far behind. White tries to save his one reducing stone and counterattack the black shape in the center. His only hope is that the black shape in the center will somehow collapse. He connects here, very strongly looking for a cut. Black doesn't care. He peeps. He says, you need to respond to your own shape, white. This white group is under attack. And Lucas takes the time to go after black's cutting points. Black fixes his stone that he just played, very natural. And white Atari is here. Black Atari is here. White captures. And black makes a big mistake. He Ataris. Black was very far ahead at this point, and if he had just played here, he could have connected his group back solidly. There's no way for white to save these 2 stones, and no way for white to cut off this black reducing tail. White would only be able to try to connect back his group, and this game would be extremely difficult for white from here on out. Luckily for white, Jan Samara Atari'd, making a ko, but giving white a chance to make the ko about capturing these black 3 stones. Now, if Lucas can win this ko, he can get a bonus 10 points or so. Actually, if Jan would have played the safe way, Jan would have been up by more than 10 points, almost 15 even. This way, Lucas has made a challenge that he has a place to try to get that back, to try to catch up. In doing so, he leaves his own group quite weak. He's completely ignored it for a move. Jan Samara could chase after it, but first he's going to just try to win the ko. Lucas can play some ko threat. Jan plays some ko threat. Lucas plays some ko threat. Jan plays Atari here. This move signifies that he isn't intent on cutting this white with his ko threats, but rather reducing, just saying, hey, you can have those 3 stones if you win this ko. I'll still win with whatever ko threat that I make, just being a big enough gain in territory. Lucas has to go along with this plan. He accepts. Jan captures the ko, and Lucas plays this move. Even still, Jan could try, if he wanted, to push here, try to cut this white group. There's still a ko, so these stones can be dead in ko, but if black can win this ko, the whole white is dead. It turns out, according to AI, that black can win this ko fighting, but no sane person would go for that in a game which they should have been winning comfortably. Black just answers. Yet, as you can tell, as this ko goes on, Lucas is using the fact that he's behind to gain little bits of territory. He pushed here. It's a fine exchange. He pushes here, getting a block. It's a fine exchange. Black makes exchanges which don't particularly gain territory, but white makes exchanges which may help him out in the endgame. Black now plays this move. It's a huge mistake because black has already committed to the idea of potentially giving up these 3 stones, and this move just makes that space that white would have if these black stones die bigger. It would have been much better, rather than that, to do the basic pushing in, reducing this way. Oh, this would be a dream if you could reduce this much. Instead, black plays here, feeding white's territory and gorging it. White plays this Atari. White even gains some more shape with this ko. None of his ko threats are very bad. Even he's getting a peep, so he can maybe get some more space on the bottom side. White recaptures the ko. Black plays this ko threat, white blocks. And white says, hey, that ko threat that you just played, it lost you a liberty. Let me play here and show you what that means. White recaptures the ko, black plays a ko threat, white plays a ko threat, black plays a ko threat, white answers, white finds a ko threat, black answers. White plays this ko threat. Once again, black needs to answer like this, but white has a good endgame sequence still, the Atari and capture. White comes back to win the ko. Black plays here. Now this is a big mistake because it gives white the opportunity to play this Atari, showing why black's filling his own liberty earlier was a mistake. This allows this whole white group on the right side to be much more immune to co-threats than it had originally been. It has one eye here, another potential eye here, and another potential eye here, along with the cut. That's one eye and 3 sources of another eye, meaning that black has very limited co-threats against this group after this Atari. Black simply captures here, because if he would have captured the ko, when white captures back, black would have had to capture anyway. So black is saving himself the need to play a ko-threat by directly answering this Atari. White answers the ko-threat on the bottom. And this answer gains white territory because when this peep comes, this black move is once again feeding white's territory. It's one more captured stone, meaning one more point for white that white didn't have before the ko. White captures the ko, and black on the last second of his Fisher time plays here. He couldn't find his good ko threat, but this one was especially not good because it's not a ko threat. White finishes the ko now. He takes all of that territory in the center. That was his comeback condition. And black's only recourse is to try to cut here and cut here. Lucas plays here. If Lucas had played this move, it would have been Jan Samara's reading. Now black can Atari, and capture the white 5 stones. This would be a massive gain for black and well worth of a ko threat. However, Lucas just plays back here. And although Jan Samara can get an Atari, there's 2 cuts. They are Miai, a double threat, where if black plays one, white can play the other. And the white groups are connected. Although black can take some Sente endgame, at the end of the day, white got the whole center, black made several exchanges, engorging white's territory. White got more on the bottom side, even, despite the fact that black spent a ko threat, and white is more alive on the bottom right. This is an example of how ko can go so horribly wrong, and why we tend to avoid active kos when we are leading. Black takes t8 as his big endgame, and a huge amount of the value of this move is the potential of a big ko later. White plays this move, making sure that he's alive. This one also secures all of the territory in the middle so that white does not have to spend the moves connecting back. But black plays some reducing moves. White answers, and when white plays here, black answers. Finally, white plays this one, a relatively big endgame, looking to secure an extra point or 2 in the center. Black makes an Atari, a couple pushes, throws in once, making sure that white has to spend a move later in the endgame, and plays S9. This makes a potential ko at T10. We're down to only 2-point value endgame moves. White plays this move, gaining 2 points. It cuts off the black stone, so black has to play this 2-point move, else when white played it, black would have to owe another move, so it would actually be worth 3. Now white goes to this move, it comes in Sente, and plays a couple of 1-point Sente moves, hoping to deny black the chance to play a 1-point reverse Sente, which is the same as 2 points. However, in doing so, he fills his own liberties. And eventually, Lucas comes back to connect here, which is a big mistake. You see, he was afraid if he fixes this ko at T10, this very important ko, then black would play the Atari here first, and this move. Now white has some severe shortage of liberties because he's reduced his own as he pushed into black's territory. If white tries to capture this, black can Atari the 3 stones, and when white answers, black can Atari here. Now white must answer on this side, because otherwise black could make an Atari and capture the whole group. Lucas thought, if black is playing some move worth a point, and I have to spend a move worth a point inside my territory after that, it should be worth 2 points to deny it, like this. So he thought this is the last 2-point move. However, when black makes a ko at t10, this gives black a chance to try to win the game. If black wins this ko, let's say white forgets to play a ko threat, and black captures, black has 1 point for a captured stone, 1 point here, another point, and another point. So 4 points of territory, 1 captured stone is 5 points for black. If white wins this ko, let's allow white to capture once, say black forgets to play a ko threat, and white connects to win the ko, then white has 1 point in the captured stone, and there's this stage ko still remaining. Now, a stage ko you can only evaluate by judging the end positions when someone wins it. So if black would win this ko by connecting, black has 1 point. And if white would win this ko, white would have to spend 3 moves and have 1 point in territory and 2 points in captured stones, so 3 points. The difference is a total of 4 points, and the difference in the number of moves it takes to go from one end result to the other is 4 moves. There were 3 moves for white to go from the initial position to white's winning position, and 1 move for black to go to black's winning position. So this is a stage ko, 4 stages. I know this is a little bit in depth, but this is a common kind of ko that exists. So you should understand, if there's 4 moves between the 2 different end results, then each step that you take along the way, each move that you go along the way is worth 1/4 of the difference between the 2 end values. So each move that you play in the stage ko is worth 1 point. If black plays, it becomes 1 point. If white plays 3 times, it becomes white's 3 points. We can say the position right now is 0 points, this stage ko. So if white wins the ko, then white has 1 point. If black wins the ko, then black has 5 points. That means that this initial ko is a direct ko for 6 points. It's really a lot. So whoever wins this ko is going to be doing very well. Of course, black paid to start the ko. Black is the one who threw in a move and made this happen. But black believes that this ko is his chance back into the game. He plays a ko threat in the bottom left. White answers. He plays white plays a ko threat. Black plays a ko threat. White plays a ko threat. Black plays a ko threat. You get the gist. These moves, I promise, are all valid, real ko threats. Even that one. Until this one. You see, black realized now they're running out of ko threats. They've been playing a lot of ko's. They've been playing a lot of ko threats. Black has only 1 ko threat remaining, 1 real ko threat remaining, which is the throw in the upper right. But white has 1 real ko threat remaining, the Atari on these 2 stones. So if black would be simple and fight the ko like this, white would answer. Black would capture back. White would try this ko threat. Black needs to answer. And when white plays here, black would have nothing to do but play some move which isn't a ko threat, such as his move on the left side, and allow white to win the ko. So he starts first with the other move, trying to confuse Lucas, trying to say, hey, if you don't respond to this, then I'm going to gain something in Sente in the endgame. Hey, don't you think you can still win the ko anyway? So aren't you still fine, even if you answer here? And Lucas is like, yes, I can still win the ko anyway, but black now would have more ko threats. If Lucas didn't play this Atari, but play like this, and come back here, then black would have this ko threat. And then eventually now Lucas would be the one with no more ko threat to play. So Lucas does the same thing. He plays the questionable ko threat. He plays here. He says, hey, if you win that ko on the right side, then I'll capture. And the corner, which was once looking neutral, or maybe black's, will be white's. That's a huge difference in territory. Black has to answer that. And Lucas says, hey, that ko in the upper left is huge. So I should use my ko threat on that one. He Atari's here, black answers, and captures again. But what he didn't realize is that at this point, black can simply connect. Black does not need to win this ko and then win that one, but simply connecting in the upper left here does the job of denying white a ko threat. Territorially, this is a loss. Black fills a move into his own territory and can hardly expect a third of a point's gain or something by capturing some white stone in the corner later. But although it's a loss for black locally, it gives black the chance to win the ko on the right side because white has already spent his ko threat on the bottom. So black now has his one ko threat. White must answer. And when black plays here, white has nothing to do. He simply takes a big move in the center, but black wins the 6-point ko. Oh, it must be so painful for Lucas Padpera, who just captured this ko one too many times. Instead of this last move capturing here, if Lucas would have directly, and you could save a ko threat as well, directly come try to win this ko, realizing that this upper left ko is not as big as it seems when black has the option to connect, Lucas could win this game by half a point. Now, even though black captures here and white connects here, and black connects here, it looks like a big gain for black. Black gets 1 point in territory extra, 1 point in territory that he didn't have to fill in his own, and 2 points in captured stones. But it doesn't compare to the 6 points value ko in the right side. So, even though Lucas takes his gain in the upper left, Jan Samara wins the game with the ko on the right side. They continue to play dame, and finally, they fill the last 2 kos. Black fills the ko in the center now. Black wins by 1.5 points, and Jan Samara 2-1 in the grand final against Lucas Padpera, with a thrilling endgame, wins to become the 9th European professional player. Congratulations to him, and heartfelt commiserations to Lucas, who has now lost his 6th potential game to become pro. He's played 6 of them. 6! I can't even lift it with one hand on the camera. 6 games, which if he just won that one game, he would be a pro, and he's lost them all so far. What a shame. But congratulations to Jan again. Really well fought and well earned. Look forward to seeing him play more. And I look forward to posting more videos on the YouTube and reading your lovely comments. Seeing the like and subscribe number go up as you remember to do those things. And seeing you again next time. Bye-bye.